Hello and welcome to Family Cooking Time with Gingerbread House. Oh my! This is the second video for our gingerbread house. Make sure you have seen the first video, part 1 baking. This is going to be part 2 decorating. We are also going to be assembling the gingerbread house in this video before we get to anything. Your kit will include 4 cups of powdered sugar, some assorted candy, yours may be a little different than mine, some peppermints, and 2 piping bags. From home, you're going to need 2 eggs or 2 egg whites, and you will also need a bowl to mix frosting in, and you'll also need either a piece of cardboard or a plate or a cake plate, something to build your gingerbread house on. So to start with, we're going to make the royal icing for our gingerbread house, and we're going to start by separating an egg. So you very carefully crack the egg in half, and then pass the yolk back and forth until all of the white has gone into the bowl. If you're doing this with your kids, this might be a fun thing to let them try as long as you have spare eggs, just in case. You don't really want any yolk to be in the bowl. Then we're going to add half of our 4 cups of powdered sugar, so that's only 2 cups, and just mix it together with a fork. Some people say that you need to sift it or you need to, be really careful about it. I have never found that to be the case, so I just use a fork and mix it all together, and I find that I mix it so much that all the lumps come out and I don't worry about it. It should be pretty thick, so go ahead and add a couple of drops of water at a time. Until it reaches a consistency that's kind of like creamy peanut butter, maybe a little bit thinner than creamy peanut butter. So you can see here, I use a big cup just so that I don't spill the water, but I'm only adding a few drops at a time, and then I'm mixing it. Just kind of loosens it up so that you can pipe it out of the bag. You can see here, I've got about a toothpaste consistency, which is about where I want it to be. But you will have a pretty tough time piping it out of the bag if it's that thick. So you can see here it's pretty much hard peak stage. It's not going to goop back together too much. Got to clean up my countertop here. Okay, so now we take our piping bag and we're just going to cut off the tiniest amount, about 1/4 of an inch from the end. I ended up using this same bag to decorate and assemble. You do have 2 bags, so if you want to cut a bigger hole, it won't be the end of the world. And then what you do is you just fold the biggest end of the piping bag around your hand. So you make this kind of cup with your hand. That's how pastry chefs do it. This is how you would fill your piping bag if you worked in a bakery. If you're not comfortable doing that, or you want to let kids pour your frosting into your piping bag, you can also take a mug and just kind of do the exact same thing around the rim of the mug. Just fold the top of the piping bag over the edge of the mug, and then you can just scoop the frosting into the piping bag. So I'm going to do that really quickly. And it should make exactly enough icing to fill the piping bag, but if you're not super comfortable using piping bags, you only have to put about 3/4 of the icing in the bag. Just make sure you cover whatever you don't use with a damp paper towel. Okay, so now we're going to fold the edges of the bag back up and then kind of twist it there where we've unfolded it, and use the crease between your index finger and your thumb to squeeze the icing towards the end of the piping bag. You can go ahead and put that in the sink, wash your hands and your countertop. So the trick to assembling a gingerbread house is going to be using these soup cans. So that stands up your front side there. And now on the short end of the side pieces that we baked in the first part of the video, we're going to take the icing and just do a liberal amount, squeeze it on there, and then press it together to the, I actually start with the back wall, but, and then do the same thing on a short side of the side piece on the other side. That was a lot of times to say side in that sentence, but that's okay. And then we're going to take the front piece, and on the wrong side of the front piece, we're going to do that same, just a big string, I guess, of icing. along the two short edges. We're just assembling the gingerbread house. Use the cans to keep your gingerbread house standing up straight. If you have never done this before, I would recommend waiting here about an hour and letting it dry a little. If you are brave, you can take your icing and pipe along one side of the roof, just like I'm doing here in the video. And again, a nice big strong glob, and then push one of the roof pieces on. And then we are going to do the same thing on the other side, and make sure you get the top eave of the roof. And go ahead and use there. The icing should be stiff enough that it doesn't really matter how much you use at this point. If you use there's not really a too much you can use. As long as it stays on the edge of the cookie, it's just enough. And it really, don't forget to take the can out from the center. It should act as a glue. Let it dry. I usually let mine dry overnight before I start decorating, but you want to let it dry at least 4 hours before. So I actually left my icing in the bag and used it the next day. But if not, you would just go ahead and make a second recipe of the 1 egg white and 2 cups of powdered sugar, and loosen it up with some water. You'll want it a little bit more viscous or easier to pour than it was yesterday. So I'm going to just show you simple piping technique. With our one hand, we've got the top. With our other hand, we use this to direct the bag. Right hand is pressure and power. Left hand is steering. And it sounds silly, but you squeeze your right hand when you want frosting to come out, and you don't squeeze your right hand when you don't want frosting to come out. So if you don't want frosting to be somewhere, don't squeeze. And if you do want frosting to be somewhere, you do squeeze. So I just demonstrated a little scallop for little dots. You squeeze and let go, and then lift the bag. So squeeze, unsqueeze, lift. And I do a little turn at the end of each one. There will be a little bit of a tail because of the egg white has a tendency to stick to itself. But it will sink down into a perfect circle. But I just do the little twist so that I don't get extra dots where I don't want them. And I can do that same scallop pattern, but do it in the opposite direction. I would really recommend, if you've never done any piping before, to do some practicing on some wax paper like I'm doing here. Or the decorating is a really great place to get your kids involved, so it might be good to have them try it on the wax paper first and then go ahead and do it on the gingerbread house. I would recommend that the parents assemble the house and the kids can help, and then you let your kids decorate it, or you decorate it yourself and then let your kids put the candy on it. But the nice thing about practicing first on the wax paper is that when you're done practicing, you can take a spatula and scrape it all back into your bowl of royal icing, and then you can use it in your piping bag later. So it's just a good way to practice and not waste anything. So I'm just doing some more little swirls here so you get a couple ideas. I am going to show you decorating the whole house, but I kind of think that's not as fun as you making it up on your own and making memories with your family, trying to decide how you want to decorate your house. So these are just some ideas of different trims you can use on different parts of the house to make different decorated designs. I've got some swirls, I've got some zigzags, I'm doing a dotted line right now. And I'm going to do one last kind of squiggle, which I think is kind of fun. The classic kind of gingerbread trim. Okay, let's get started on that house. So I always start on the roof and I do the shingles first. Again, you can do any shape you want. But remember, it is going to be a little bit harder to pipe on the actual house than it will be to pipe on the wax paper. But just like I did here, if you make a mistake, you can kind of scrape it off or pick it off once it dries. So don't worry about it. Just have a good time and enjoy decorating your house with your family. So I always do the roof shingles and then I go ahead and do the other side. I always decorate my house from top to bottom. I think that's the easiest way to do it, but that's just like my opinion. After I do the shingles on the roof, I like to do a little bit of decorating under the eaves of the house. I think it just makes that kind of gluey cement that we use to put the house together. It just cleans it up a little bit and makes it look nice. So I'm just doing kind of a scalloped under the shingle, and I'm filling those in. And the icing should kind of smooth itself out as it dries. So don't worry about too much if there's weird lumps. After I do under the eaves, I'm going to go ahead and add a door. I'm just going to do a little door here. Do some molding on the door. The more you pipe on the house, the better it will look, I think. Not only because you'll practice and you'll get better at piping, but the more like hand effort you put into the door, I think the cuter they turn out. So I just did a little doorknob and some molding on the door. Now I'm just gonna do a little swirly kind of filigree thing. I like to do these. I think they're fun. Just the little S's back and forth and then with dots in between. Then I'm going to add a window on the front of the house. I am doing most of this at double time just because, again, I don't think you can copy my house if you want, and that's totally fine, but I think you'll have more fun if you get a little bit creative and try and decorate it how you want to decorate your house. But I'm just making a window here and doing the window panes. And I think I'm going to add a little round bit of this window at the top here. Yep, just a little round window. My mom has a window like this in her house, so I just made that window. And again, more window panes. I always do all of the piping first, and then I get to the candy. I'm going to add another window up here, up top on the front of the house. Another little half circle window. And like I said, my mom has one of these windows in her house, so if you make a mistake, just go ahead and take your finger, scrape it right off. No one will ever know. Oh, I got shaky hands. But you can still see, even with my shaky hands, you can scrape it off, and it's like it never even happened. And I always just wipe the icing if I make a mistake like that and I need to wipe it off. I just wipe it right onto the plate or the cardboard that I'm using because I end up covering the cardboard with icing anyways, so no need to dirty a towel or whatever. So like I was saying, my mom has one of these windows at her house, so I always put them on my gingerbread house because they remind me of home. And I think that it will be a more special gingerbread house if you try and incorporate elements of your own house or your fantasy house onto the decorating of the gingerbread house. I'm just going to add some dots here under the window, add some more visual interest. Just a couple dots. Now I'm going to switch over to the back and do the same thing under the eaves, so I'm going to speed up the video a little bit. Again, I just like to do that to cover up the kind of glue royal icing and make it all look really deliberate. I'm going to do another big window on the back here, and a line, and some kind of scalloping. I like my gingerbread houses to look really wintry, so I usually add some snowflakes or some snow in the windows like I'm doing here. Just a little snow in the window pane. I know it's Southern California, but I like to pretend in my gingerbread houses that it might snow. So I like to do a big snowflake on the back of my house, and I always like to do snow in at least some of the windows. So on one side, I'm going to do another big window, like that one in my mom's house. And again, you can do whatever you like. You can do multiple windows. I think I'm going to do multiple windows on the other side here. It's up to you. It's your house. Make it look however you want. And again, if you make a mistake, you can see I just wipe it right on the cardboard. Okay, so now I'm going to attach some candy. Again, I like to go top to bottom. So I'm going to just take some peppermints, and I like to put the frosting on the candy and then put the frosted candy on the house. So I'm just doing some peppermints along the top of the eave that covers up that weird glue area that where the two roof pieces stick together. And I usually like to do at least one peppermint as a wreath on the front door. So I just go ahead and put that frosting on the peppermint, put the peppermint on the house. I'm going to use these jelly beans to make little shingles on the front window. I like to use the candy to kind of accent the piping I did, and then to kind of emulate any sort of design elements that a house would actually have. So I actually took these jelly beans and cut them in half and did the halves for shutters on these windows. And I do them on the same on the other window. I like to use all kinds of colors. I don't really like stick to a color scheme. Again, more shingles on these windows. And again, you can go hog wild with this candy, do whatever you like. The last thing I like to do is do little icicles. And you do that by starting with pressure on the actual surface of the cookie. And then as you release, keep dragging the piping bag down. The very, very last thing I do is I take whatever icing is left in the bag and I spread it around on the bottom of my cake plate or my cardboard. It just makes it look like there's snow on the ground in front of my house. And you can see how it covers up all the little smears I did and any mistakes I made. And then I like to do some candy on the plate. So I do a little bit of jelly beans. I cut these ones in half too, I think. And I just made a little path away from the front door so that anybody who came to visit my little gingerbread house would know how to get to the front door. Alright, so there you have it. There's my finished gingerbread house. I would absolutely love to see what you and your family make. Please tag us on social media. The tag information is all at the end of this video. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I hope you had a great time making this, and I hope it becomes a holiday tradition for you. And I will see you next time.